The night my son first climbed out of his crib, I did everything wrong. I panicked. I rushed to buy a toddler bed. I set it up the same night. And for the next 3 weeks, bedtime turned into a full contact sport where nobody won, especially not me at 11 p.m., silently crying into a glass of wine. Here's what I wish someone had told me. The transition itself isn't the hard part. The mistakes you make in the first 72 hours are. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the exact system that finally worked for us, including one counterintuitive move that most parents never try, and it is the reason the bedtime chaos stops almost overnight. But first, stay with me through the first 2 sections, because if you skip straight to the strategy without knowing why it works, you'll execute it wrong and blame the method. Chapter 1: When to actually make the switch. Let's kill the biggest myth right now. Your toddler climbing out of the crib does not automatically mean they're ready for a big kid bed. Climbing out is a physical skill. Staying in a big kid bed requires an entirely different thing: impulse control. And impulse control in toddlers is basically non-existent before age 2.5. Here's the real window: 2.5 to 3.5 years old. That's when the brain has enough development to actually follow a rule like stay in your bed. The 4 signs that actually matter. 1, they're climbing out consistently and it's a fall risk. This is the only situation where you move faster regardless of age. 2, they're 35 inches or taller. At that height, the crib rail is genuinely unsafe. 3, they're potty training and need bathroom access at night. 4, and this one matters most, they can hold a rule for more than 30 seconds. Ask them to sit still. Ask them not to touch something. If they can do it, even imperfectly, they're ready. Now, here's what most parents get completely wrong about timing. And this is the thing that will save you weeks of misery. Never start this transition during a sleep regression, 2 months before a new baby arrives, or a move, a new daycare, a major family disruption. One big change at a time. Your toddler's nervous system can only absorb so much. Stack 2 transitions and you'll create anxiety that makes both harder to solve. And coming up, the preparation phase that 90% of parents skip, and exactly why skipping it turns week 1 into a nightmare. Chapter 2: The preparation phase. Around 2 to 3 weeks before the transition, you start a campaign, not a conversation. A campaign. Read books about big kid beds. There are dozens of them. Show them photos. If possible, take them to pick out one thing: new sheets, a special pillow, a stuffed animal that only lives in the big kid bed. Ownership creates buy-in. A toddler who chose their own dinosaur sheets will defend those sheets. Now here's the step that will feel extreme but is non-negotiable. Child-proof the entire room like they have unlimited unsupervised access. Because now they do. Every piece of furniture anchored to the wall, blind cords secured or cut, outlet covers on, anything dangerous or valuable removed. A baby gate at the door is optional, but I recommend it. It buys you early warning when they're testing the boundaries. Here's the move that changed everything for us, and I haven't seen another parent talk about it. Keep both the crib and the big kid bed in the room at the same time. I know, it's crowded. Do it anyway. Here's why it works, and I'll get to the full strategy in a second. But the short version is this: the crib becomes a tool, not a prison. It gives you leverage, and leverage is everything with a toddler. Further, the psychology here is real. When a toddler knows the crib is still in the room, they don't feel like they're losing something. The transition feels like an addition, not a forced change. Anxiety drops, resistance drops. This is the foundation. Now let's build the actual system on top of it. Chapter 3: The transition strategy. There are 3 phases. Don't skip it. I know you're tired, but trust the process. Phase 1: Introduction week, the first 7 days. Days 1 and 2. The big kid bed is a daytime activity. They play on it, read on it, hang out on it. They still sleep in the crib at night. You're building familiarity without any pressure. Days 3 and 4. Naps happen in the big kid bed. Naps are lower stakes, less tired, less emotionally loaded, lower consequence if it goes sideways. Days 5 through 7. Nighttime sleep in the big kid bed, full transition. One rule for the entire week. Your bedtime routine does not change by a single step. Same time, same order, same everything. The only variable is the bed. Change one thing, not 6. Phase 2, boundary training, weeks 2 through 4. This is where the dual bed strategy pays off. The rule is simple, and you say it exactly once at bedtime. When it's bedtime, you stay in your bed. If you get out, you'll sleep in the crib. It's not a threat, it's a fact. Calm voice, use flat effect. First time they get out, one warning. If you get out again, you'll sleep in your crib tonight. Second time they get out, you pick them up, no eye contact, no words, no emotion, and you put them in the crib. Then you leave. Here's the psychology that makes this work. You are not punishing them. You are teaching them that the big kid bed is a privilege and the crib is the natural consequence of not being ready for that privilege yet. Most toddlers test this 3 to 5 times across the first week. Then it stops, because toddlers are testing for consistency, not permission. The moment they find a consistent wall, they stop running into it. Phase 3, removing the crib, weeks 4 through 6. 7 consecutive nights in the big kid bed without getting out. That's your threshold. Not 4 nights, not 5, 7 nights. Once you hit it, the crib comes out. If they still get out after the crib is gone, you become a boring robot. Every time they get out of bed, every single time. You walk them back without speaking, without eye contact, without any response that could be interpreted as interesting. You are the most boring human being alive. Night 1 of the boring robot method, you might do this 15 times. Night 2, maybe 8. By night 3 or 4, the behavior typically stops. Because getting out of bed stopped producing anything worth getting out for. Chapter 5, troubleshooting the hard nights. Let me run through the 5 problems that derail this transition. Problem 1, they keep leaving the room. Install a baby gate at the door, or use a door monkey, a small device that keeps the door cracked open, but prevents it from swinging wide. This contains them safely while preserving airflow. You can pair it with an okay to wake clock if your child is 2.5 or older. It glows green when it's okay to get up. That visual cue does more work than almost any verbal rule you can set. Problem 2, suddenly terrified of the dark. This is extremely common. The crib felt like a contained safe space. The open bed feels exposed. Add a dim red or amber nightlight, not blue or white. Those suppress melatonin and actively wreck sleep. Let them keep one special comfort item in the bed. We did something that sounds ridiculous and worked completely. A spray bottle labeled shadow spray. We sprayed the room before bed every night for about 2 weeks. Toddler logic is toddler logic. So, use it. Problem 3, naps collapsed. Naps are harder because daylight undermines the sleep pressure. Blackout curtains are non-negotiable if naps are part of your routine. If they won't sleep even with them, shift to quiet time. 60 minutes in the room with books or quiet toys. They don't have to sleep. They stay in the room. Over time, most kids will start napping again once the novelty of the new bed fades. Problem 4, early morning wake-ups. They're waking up early because now they can. Before, the crib kept them contained until you came to get them. Now they have freedom, and freedom at 5 a.m. is a problem. Implement okay to wake clock, plus doing a silent walk back every single morning until the behavior stops. It takes about a week of consistent enforcement. Problem 5, no room for 2 beds. Use a pack and play instead of the crib as your consequence bed. Same psychology, half the floor space. Or a low floor bed also works well as the transition bed if space is limited. Less fall risk, easier for them to get in and out during the introduction phase. Chapter 6, The Final Truths. Here is what this timeline looks like. Most kids adjust in 2 to 4 weeks. Some need 6. If at the 4-week mark your toddler is still getting out constantly and sleep is genuinely falling apart, it is completely okay to go back to the crib for another month or 2. There's no shame in it. Readiness isn't a moral virtue. It's just developmental timing. The things that make or break this transition aren't the bed, the clock, or the spray bottle. It's 3 things. First, consistency. The moment you give in once, you've taught them that holding out long enough works. They will remember this. They will use it. Second, timing. A well-rested toddler handles this transition dramatically better than an overtired one. Keep bedtime between 7 and 7:30 p.m. throughout the entire process. Third, celebration. When they stay in bed all night, make it a genuine celebration in the morning. Sticker charts work well at this age, the positive reinforcement compounds. My son is the one I told you about at the beginning, the one who climbed out of his crib and turned 3 weeks of bedtime into warfare. We did this exact system. By week 3, he was putting himself to bed and staying there until we got him in the morning. The dual bed method worked because it gave him a sense of agency while keeping the boundaries completely clear. He wasn't being forced out of something safe. He was earning something better. You've got this. Stay consistent. Stay calm. Trust the system. And if you're in week 2 right now and it feels like it's never going to work, I promise you, it will. Thanks for watching.